So we're getting ready to jump into the fourth section of our program. Wildlife Corner, Wildlife Corner. And today, it's the hippo. So last week we had a request from Barb to talk about the hippo today. So we have a lot of interesting things to share with you today. And of course, we want you to know how to say hippo in Swahili and also in Maasai. So in Swahili, we say kiboko. Can you try that? Kiboko. And in Maasai, we say ormakau. Okay, let's give it another shot. Ormakau. Okay, we've had some very funny things about hippos that I've discovered in the last couple of days of reading about them. I took this picture a few months ago in the Amboseli swamp. This is the common hippopotamus. Now, hippopotamus, I'm sure a lot of you have heard that word before, but you don't know that it comes from the Greek. Hippo means horse, and potamus means river. So it actually directly translates into horse of the river, which is kind of interesting to me because I grew up speaking German. My mom comes from Germany, and the German word for hippopotamus is Nilpferd. And Nil is like the word Nile, so that's a river, and Pferd is horse. So it's actually directly translated from the Greek hippopotamus. So as I said, the one that we have in East Africa is the common hippopotamus. And then there's actually one other one that exists in West Africa, like in countries like Liberia, and it's called the pygmy hippo. Well, if you want to see how big the common hippo is compared to the pygmy hippo, oops, my fingers are covering it. Whoops. Okay, so the pygmy hippo is the tiny one over here. Can you see all the way to this side? And then the common hippo is in the middle. Well, the common hippo can get up to, the adult males can get up to 4,000 pounds. That's 2 tons. And the pygmy hippo is only about 1/4 of that size. Females can get up to 2,000 pounds, almost 3,000 pounds for the bigger ones. So you could just imagine. I mean, one thing about hippos is that they spend most of the day in the water, and then at night they come out to graze. They like to eat a lot of different grasses. So you might walk, if you're walking around at night in the areas where they live, you might come face with one. And guess what? They're fast. So they can run up to 20 miles an hour. So you can think about that, 4,000 pounds coming at you at 20 miles an hour. You better get out of the way or hope it doesn't happen. Right. The other thing about a hippo is they have huge mouths. So I bet some of you are asking yourself this question: what happens when a hippo bites a car? It can happen. In fact, it happened to a friend of mine. I asked him what happened to his car. He had a huge dent in his back bumper. And he said a hippo actually opened its mouth and crushed it down on the bumper. So it's a real thing. You don't want to be close to them. You definitely need to stay out of their ways. They also have an interesting habit of spraying dung. So when they defecate, they use their tails in a swirling motion to toss the dung as far as 10 meters away. And that's how the male hippos, they use that way of marking their territory and also marking trails to be able to remember the places where they found really tasty grasses. So I had asked Larasha, what do Maasai people say about hippos? Last time you might have remembered me talking about the giraffe. People like to be like a giraffe because giraffes can see far. I was wondering if they say something like that. Do you want to be like a hippo? It's actually the opposite. So what they say is, if you have a big mouth, you make a lot of noise, you talk too much, they'll say, Kilala enkutok ena ormakau. You have a big mouth like a hippo. So that's how Maasai people think about hippos. As you saw, they're huge, they're fat. They have another interesting thing. People used to say that hippos actually sweat blood, but it's not sweating. They have a special secretion that is red that protects them against ultraviolet rays and also has some antibacterial qualities. So those are some things about hippos. So let's just review the names in Swahili for hippos. The Swahili name is kiboko, and the Maasai name is ormacao.